Okay everyone, welcome back. Today, as you can see, we've got these two nice statues going on. These are from the game Muramasa, or the English name is Muramasa the Demon Blade. This is a Wii game that also came out on the PS Vita with kind of a few extra DLC type things and stuff added on. But today we're going to take a look at, there's two main characters in this game. We're going to take a look at her, MomoHime, which is this statue right here, and then in the next video we'll take a look at this other character, Kongiku. It's like a fox girl. We'll get to that in just a sec. Just a quick thing about this. The artist, George Kamitani, he's kind of famous for his sort of painted, really like colorful, beautiful painted style for games. And in games they use his art. Really wild, creative stuff. He did Demon's Crown, and what did he do? I think 12 Sentinels is the newest one. Odin's Sphere, things like that. Anyways, really cool stuff. It's a really fun game. I recommend it if you haven't played that. So, because we're going to look at this one, I'm going to move these aside, and then we'll take a look at the box. So, just taking a look at the box first. It's pretty large, as you can see. The figure is 1/8 scale, as you can see right there, 1/8 scale, pre-painted figure. So she's big, but the box is huge. It's got a nice big window there, so we can see the statue inside. I keep saying figure, but I guess it's more of a statue, huh? I like how they incorporated the little sakura cherry blossom petals printed on the plastic to kind of incorporate this and draw it through. The Fox Girl's got it too. Take a look at that next time though. What do we have here? Some information. So the sculptor's name and the paint master's name. Logo from the game. Because it's saying the two dates, I think this is the Wii release and this was the Vita release. I'm not sure when the statue came out. It's not new. It came out a while ago. On the side, we've just got an image of the figure itself there. Same information right there. The back is pretty simple. We've got this, just a nice flowery design here. Same information in a window, kind of like the fan shape or something like that. And the side is once again just two nice shots of the statue. Top is kind of the same. And bottom is the technical information, so you're welcome to pause that and look through all of that if you want to. Now this one I got, this one's sealed and brand new. This one has actually been opened, but it seems to be in pretty great condition. So we might not even have to cut any tape here. I think it's already open a bit. So let's crack her open and see what we got. Inside of the box is just plain yellow. Okay, so she's just in her plastic case. Real quick though, we've got the instructions on how to put things together because her hands can be changed, so you can have her with the sword out or what have you. So there's a few different parts for that. Okay, I'm gonna take her out of here safely. Because this is a used statue, I think this, like her hand was falling around there a bit, but should be okay. I think from what I understood, everything was in tip-top condition. That base has a little bit of weight to it. Okay, so these are all the pieces, just straight out of the box. So let's see, maybe I should be following these instructions on how to put it together. Before I lock the sword into the scabbard, let's just take a quick look at it. It looks really nice. Got some good detailing, good shading on there to capture the art style. Oh, I think it's like a lion or an oni or something like that. The underside has it as well, that's cool. Coming out of the mouth. And then the blade is quite well done, really straight. It's kind of a hard but maybe brittle plastic. You got to be careful with that. Because it's used, mine does have a little mark on her hand where she was holding the sword, but I don't think that's really going to be an issue since you're not going to see that once it's in her hand. So no real problem. Just like that. Totally can't see it. And that piece just fits up into there. I don't know how snug it is, but it does push into place. You can see the blade is sticking out a bit. Looks cool. Just as she's unsheathing it. Now these two hands are basically identical, but I think this one's attached to the sword and this one's not. So if you want her just kind of running with maybe the blade in her hand or empty-handed or something, you could just have this if you don't want the scabbard there. And then this extra sleeve here, you can see this fits onto there as well, right? It places that one. They're just designed so you can rotate that hand in another direction if you wanted. That piece in there actually goes the other way on this one. So I think one has her hand that way and one has her hand another way. A more action pose. As for the base, this is really nice coloring on here. Just a black finish on the bottom. But we've got some really nice bubbling brook going through here and some really cool rocks. They really did capture the coloring style of the game. Actually, it looks really similar to it. And you got a nice, I was surprised by this, but a nice metal peg. Usually they're plastic. And the problem with the plastic ones is over time, a heavy figure will start to like lean over or something. But the metal one, I imagine, is to help circumvent that problem. So looks pretty good. And that just pops into her foot. Before we put that on, look at the nice coloring on that. Even on the foot that's going to be hidden, they went and detailed the sandal and everything like that. Really nice. There you go. Nice and sturdy, actually. Works really well. And she's got a really light step. And there she is all together. It looks really good. It's a great pose. In the game, you spend a lot of time running along side to side, as it is a 2D platformer. And then there's battles, of course, on the way. So this does a really good job of kind of capturing that essence, I would say. And the colors are great. So let's take a closer look and we'll look at everything in detail. So we'll start at the head and work our way down, of course. Dust up there maybe, but right away you can see the great work on the hair. Lots of stuff going on. Mine might have a little scrape there, I don't know, but in hand it's not really that noticeable. But there's a lot of color variation in the hair. You can see light browns and dark browns and stuff. It goes all the way in there. Lots of detailing in there, and I like how it's crisscrossing at the back. At the front she's got the beautiful flowers adorning both sides. Lots of good color there. Everything has these multiple color apps, which is really nice. And then her comb, her decorative comb, also decorated with flowers and things like that. Tucked in there. And everything just has a nice little wash and highlights and stuff on it. As for her face, I think they did a good job. So the idea in the game is that she's a normal girl who is going to get married, and then like a demon spirit kind of takes over her and she has to do something for it. And so she's kind of this normal cute girl that becomes this fighter. So I think this captures that well. I like the shading both around the eyes but also in the eyes. There's a bit of a red shade in there which looks really good. Once again, it really adds to matching the art style of the game. There's a bit of blush, a little bit of lips there. Even the ears, I think, have a bit of shading. Moving on, we've got the sort of samurai style shoulder pads on each side. One on the back too. I like how they're kind of a rougher texture, you can see in the lighting there, which is a nice contrast to the kimono and things like that, or I guess it's their, yeah, kimono. Then on the back we've got this big ribbon, which I think is part of the obi, the belt here. This is the bow for it, and that's got some flower applications on it too. Hey, whoa, not looking down there yet. But that goes all the way around at the back. Then her sleeves are this nice yellow to pink coloring, once again with flowers. These are just printed on both sides, and on this one too, both sides. Then we've got the cord on the obi too, which has a nice little paint app. Just everything's looking really good. Her arms, she's got a little bit of armor on there as well, which has a bit of like a metallic, I guess, brush over it, something like that, a little airbrushing or something, which is nice. It's black, but it has a bit of a metallic sheen, and then the trim and everything on it. On the underside, oh, we've even got a little cord where it ties onto her. Her hands are nice. She's got a little glossy nail polish on each. Nothing too striking, but it just adds a nice little touch to it. And the hands are sculpted well. Then, as I was showing before, the sword has a lot of good detail. You can see the scabbard there. Got a nice design running up it. Very shiny. And the cord holding it all together, and then the sword itself, as I showed before, it looks really good. So then her kimono, it's rather short, but it does the job. It almost covers things. Creates a nice image. She's got some good shading on her skin. Like, she doesn't have too much exposed skin except for her legs, but what she does have, it's very soft looking, and it's got some nice shading. You got a little pair of undies in there that continues on actually under and everything as well. Then continuing on to the legs, we've got some black and then these purple pink wrappings. They've got a little bit of a more not so subtle wash on them. Like, everything else is very smooth, but these are a little bit more rough, which I think adds to the effect. It's nice that they have a few different textures like this kind of shading, this kind of shading, this kind of shading. Everything works well together, adds a lot of different textures to it. There's also good highlights on there, and on the feet you can see that the feet actually have highlights where it would be out more, and then shadows on the deeper areas, which, I mean, obviously that makes sense, but it really helps it pop out and it makes it look more like a drawing. And then the bottom of her, like, tabby boots, her little sandals and shoes. Oh, you can even see her toe is kind of gripping onto the shoe a little bit. That's a nice touch. And then a really good wash on those feet. It actually looks like it's all woven. It's really cool. And I already talked about the base, but yeah, I really like it. I think it looks good. And interesting that they went with more of like a green color. You know, rocks, you would think a gray or something like that, but they went with like a nice green, mossy color, which really makes it pop. So yeah, overall, really, really good figure. I like it. Once again, this came out a few years back, so I don't know how hard it would be for people to find, but here in Japan, looking online, I was able to find several sellers, so it might still be possible. And I'm looking forward to opening up the other one as well, Kongiku, the fox girl. They should be in scale with each other. This is part of the same line. They're both 1/8, it says, although she looks quite a bit bigger, but in the game she is bigger, so I guess that makes sense. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or anything, leave them down below and I'll do my best to answer. And join me next time. We'll take a look at her. Okay, bye-bye.